Hey crafty friends, Kim from Stamping and Scrapping Imperfection. I'm so delighted you're here. I'm playing with one of my favorite scrapbook workshops from close to my heart, and this is called Cozy Up. It's all about fall and books and things like that. And here you can see the gorgeous stamp set that coordinates with the Cozy Up Scrapbook Workshop. I really loved this. I loved the sentiments in it. I loved the images in it. I've used all of them for some project or another already. It does have coordinating die cuts, so I always like to include the coordinating stamp and thin cut set when I purchase a scrapbook workshop like this, because sometimes the stickers aren't enough for me, or the die cuts that come in the kit. Here you can see I also picked 3 other fall stamp sets, technically 4, because I also got the card making workshop, which you'll see in another video. But I loved the iconic images on this particular stamp set. I thought they were really pretty spectacular. And there are lots of little stamps in there that I think will make perfect filler stamps for scrapbook pages. Now, I haven't used any of the stamp sets yet because I'll use those when I use up this kit and I go to make fall themed pages on my own with whatever scraps are left over. Here you can see the kit came with lots of photo placeholders. It came with this gorgeous instruction set they have created 3 double page layouts. They've got the cutting diagrams and pictures and really good instructions on how to put those pages together. I like to browse the PDFs. Sometimes I'll make 1 or 2 of the pages, but I love doing my own thing. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to do my own thing on a whole bunch of pages, and then anything that's left over, I will pull out some cardstock from my stash and start making pages there. And a lot of times I use my leftovers in my traveler's notebooks. So this came with these fantastic enamel dots. Some of them are even sparkly. The kit also came with this stencil, and I love this stencil. I haven't used it on anything yet, but I will be using it. It's so perfect. And I definitely want to add some stamped borders, some stenciled borders with these things. You can make your own background papers. Like, these are pretty fantastic. And if you know me, if you've been watching my videos for a while, I believe that stencils are a really good value for my crafty dollar. So I love this. I love the colors that this has. Although I have to say, now that I'm done, you can see all the title opportunities and the sentiments, a couple of border strips there. I actually found a couple of the pumpkins and that beautiful cornucopia sticker to be really big. I actually struggled to use them because of their size, which is unusual for me. And I think it was just the way I placed my photos. The stamps became really kind of big. And by I mean stickers. So here's the sketch that I want to use today. This is one of Laura Whitaker's Stuck sketches. You can see it's from 2014. You can find these on Pinterest. I happen to really love this layout. I'm really trying to use sketches a little bit more because I want to leave more white space on my page. And you can see all the white space in this one. Even though I'm going to use a patterned paper for my background, it's still going to be empty space that doesn't have embellishments and photos and other layers of stuff in it. So that will count as white space. And I like how that gives my eye a place to rest. I decided I am going to use these 2 pieces of paper. I'm going to save the other 2 papers that match those for a second layout, using a different sketch that will coordinate and give me a nice double page layout. I am going to use that red and brown paper. It's red on one side, brown on the other. This kit came with 2 sheets of die cuts. It came with a sheet of die cut strips, which I love. Like, look at all those pattern paper choices I have. That was one of the reasons why I picked this sketch, because it uses strips and it uses banners, and there was a sheet of die cut shapes and banners and things that I pretty much used almost all of that. Not on this particular layout, but on the layouts that I created with this kit. I got a lot of layouts out of the kit. I love it, absolutely love it. And I haven't even stamped very much and created my own embellishments. So I'm going to continue going with these colors. I just love the colors. So I cut the branding strip off a piece of pattern paper. I cut a 1 by 12 inch strip off the side, turned my paper 90 degrees, and cut a 1-inch strip off the bottom. And that ended up being 1 by 11 because I'd already trimmed a 1-inch strip off it. So I'm just deciding which ones I want to do, but the leaves are really calling me. I'm not kidding. I love this. So I pulled out, and I can't remember where this is. This is sage or rosemary, this paper, but it came in the kit. So I want to use these 2 3x4 layouts. And now that I'm an empty nester, I find myself documenting my everyday stories and stuff that my husband and I do throughout the days. And like, this is definitely going to be for the books I'm reading. And I've got a photo of the books that I put aside to read for July and the books that I actually did read in July. And it changed because we have a bookstore in town. I can't stay out of it. And a new Barnes & Noble's opened about 30 minutes away, so there's that too. So I've cut down this piece of red that is 4.5 or 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. I'm going to cut a second piece a little bit larger because I want to have 2 layers behind that. Like, this sketch made me just feel like I wanted to have a couple layers. This is cut at 5 by 7 1/4, and I'm going to flip this over and use the brown side behind that red piece. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull out that die cut sheet and pick some of the strips, because you've seen the sketch. It uses like 3 strips behind the paper. So I definitely want to bring this orange paper in. I love the orange. I love the deep chocolate colors. I love the yellow that's in this, but I also love this branding strip because it has all the colors. So I really like it. And the sketch calls for enough strips that I can actually get away using that. So I'm putting this orange piece in place, and I will cut all my strips down to about 7.5 inches long. They will vary in widths because the die cut sheet of strips had a variety of different widths. I definitely want to bring a yellow in, and I definitely want to bring another shade of the brown in. Like, they just had such a beautiful variety of fall colors. I'll vary the heights of my the heights from the bottom and from the top by just stacking them together in a way that some will look longer than others on the top and shorter than others on the bottom. So I'm just gonna glue them together or adhere them together with a little bit of my tape runner. And I love this tape runner. It lasts forever. And this is in general what I like to use on my scrapbook layouts. And you can see I don't use a ton of adhesive because I might want to move things around. So I use very little until I'm done, and then I'll check and make sure everything is adhered well. So I'll put my white strips on top. I am using this branding strip from the paper, and I like using those if they're pretty because I feel like I'm using all the parts. So it feels good to do that. So I'll add that. And notice I'm just putting adhesive on the right side and on the left side so that when I put it down, that center part where the photos are going to go is without adhesive. So I can just slide photos and other embellishments right underneath these pieces. And you'll see that when I add foam to the backs of things, I do the same kind of thing. I don't remove the backing on the foam if it's overlapping a photo and I need to slide the photo in. I hadn't printed my photos yet at this point, even though I took them and I knew what I was going to use. And I will leave these white photo mats in place, and I'll trim my photos down just enough to see a little hint of that white behind it. So I did pull these two little banner bits out from the second die cut sheet, and I'm only taking the backing off the top pieces of foam just because I need to slide the photo under there. So I don't want the bottom bits to be stuck permanently down, and I actually forgot to and pulled it off that second one, so I'm just going to steal a backing piece from another piece of foam and put it back on top of that other piece of foam. And as I'm doing this, I realize I want to pull out a title. There were a couple title opportunities. I did pull out my handy old scallop punch, which I've had for at least 20 years. That thing is a workhorse. It's been like, I don't think I've ever put it away someplace because I use that scallop punch all the time. I love the scallop detail. The sketch did call for a scallop detail, although a much larger one. And I really always add that scallop detail when it calls for it because I love it. It always feels like a slightly fancier and finished page when I have a scallop detail for some reason. So I just think that's actually fun. So I'm just tucking some layers together. I still have not put any adhesive there, so I can slide the pictures in behind. Now I just need a couple embellishment pieces from the sticker sheet. So first things first, I'm going to take the title. The title actually is supposed to go down in the lower left part of this cluster. I'm going to move it to the top just because for some reason it feels better up there to me. And I do want to add a couple of these big embellishment clusters. And since this page is going to be all about books, the books I'm currently reading or the books I've read in the last couple weeks, then I want to stick with that theme. So I'm pulling out these stacks of books. Again, notice I only pulled the sticker back, or the foam sticker back, off the left-hand side, the part that's over. So I did go ahead and put those down. I'll put the second one up there as well. So you'll notice the two ephemera or sticker clusters are diagonal across the photos. Everything in this layout is really drawing your eyes to the focal images, which will be my photos. So I love that. I think it's keeping it really simple. In general, I tend to put three clusters of embellishments and stickers and stuff, but here I have two. I think the bottom of those paper strips that went behind the photo really do count as my third cluster. So I do have a visual triangle around the photos, and I like that. So I'm just seeing if I want to add any other stickers. I play with a couple of them here. I do like this giant leaf or a stem of leaves there at the top, and I experiment with a little feather or a little leaf at the bottom, and I like it, but I feel like the paper's busy enough. I don't need any more stuff there. I think I just need some gems, so I'm going to go ahead and add those. I don't want to overdo it, so I'll just add a couple near each of those two stacks of books or book stickers, and that will be that. My journaling will probably go right underneath the photos in that empty space to the left of my paper strips. So I'm pretty happy with this. Like, using that sketch really has forced me to edit myself down so that I am a little bit more frugal with my stickers and stuff, and then my albums also don't get quite so big and fluffy. So I've got those going diagonally across the page, and that is that. I just have to add my journaling and my photos as soon as I print them, and I'm going to call it a day. I actually really love this. Now I could go ahead and add some gel pen details or journaling pen details to my green paper if I wanted to. Like putting a gel pen dot or a journal dot in each one of those scallops is a pretty touch, but I think I'm going to leave it just like this. You saw that I cut a circle die in half and put that under that upper cluster of books because I wanted to anchor it a little bit and I wanted it to really stand out. I am going to add one of these little sentiment strips somewhere on here, and this says read books, so I love it. It's pretty perfect for the photos that I'm going to use. So that is that. Thank you so much for watching, friends. I hope you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and click that bell so you get notifications every time I upload a new video. I will put links to my Close to My Heart store and to this particular workshop set. I hope you enjoy this. Have a fantastic day.